What if I told you that every currency in history, from the Roman denarius to the German mark to the Venezuelan bolivar, collapsed following the exact same pattern? And what if I also told you that this pattern is not random, not accidental, and definitely not new, but a 7-stage death cycle almost every major economy silently enters when its money begins to fail? Most people think currency collapse happens overnight. It doesn't. It happens in slow motion. And right now, the world's largest economies are already ticking through these stages, one warning sign at a time. But the real mystery is this: why do governments keep repeating the same fatal mistakes, even though history shows exactly how it ends? Tonight, we follow the pattern, we decode the signs, and we uncover what happens when a currency enters its final phase and drags an entire nation with it. Set the stage: background, history, hidden twists. To understand the 7 warning signs, we need to step back into history, to a world where money wasn't paper, wasn't digital, but literal gold and silver. Ancient Rome created one of the strongest currencies in history. The denarius held its value for centuries, till emperors discovered a dangerous trick. You could stretch the empire's power by debasing the currency. Shave a little silver off here, mix in cheap metals there. People wouldn't notice at first. This trick didn't die with Rome. It resurfaced in the Weimar Republic, then in Argentina, Zimbabwe, and now echoes across modern central banking systems. Every collapse, regardless of era, begins the same way, quietly, invisibly, with signals most citizens never recognize, not until it's too late. 1. The disconnect between money and value. It begins when governments create money faster than the real economy grows. Production slows. Printing accelerates. The currency drifts away from the value it's supposed to represent. This mismatch is the first crack. 2. Exploding national debt. As spending rises and revenue falls, debt becomes a tool, then a habit, then an addiction. Rome borrowed to feed its armies. Weimar borrowed to pay war reparations. Modern nations borrow to sustain lifestyles their GDP cannot support. Once debt grows faster than the economy itself, the collapse clock begins. 3. Vanishing trust in institutions. Citizens sense something is wrong. Banks become political tools. Central banks adjust inflation numbers. People lose faith in official explanations, and trust is the foundation of every currency on Earth. When trust cracks, the currency does too. For currency devaluation becomes policy, governments begin intentionally weakening their own money. They call it stimulus, quantitative easing, monetary support, but the truth is darker. Devaluation is a last resort dressed as a solution. This is the point where most currencies cannot recover. 5. Rising prices become a way of life. Inflation stops being a cycle and becomes a culture. Businesses raise prices because everyone else is raising prices. Savings lose meaning. People buy assets, not because they want them, but because they're running from their own currency. 6. Capital flight and wealth drain. The wealthy escape first. Smart money flees the system into dollars, gold, real estate, crypto, foreign markets. This leaves the middle class exposed and pressures the government to clamp down harder. Restrictions follow, controls increase, freedom shrinks. 7. The final phase. Hyperinflation or reset the end arrives suddenly. Confidence breaks. Money velocity spikes. Prices explode so fast businesses can't update menus. Governments introduce a temporary solution, a new currency, a reset, a redenomination. But every reset carries a silent confession. The old money is dead. When a currency collapses, society fractures. Savings vanish. Pensions evaporate. Wages become worthless before they're earned. People turn to barter, black markets, or alternative currencies. And the government blames external shocks. But history shows the collapse is almost always internal, caused by decisions made decades earlier. When collapse pressure builds, governments try the same broken tools: printing more money, freezing prices, raising taxes, restricting withdrawals, enforcing capital controls, creating emergency digital currencies, blaming foreign governments or speculators. None of these fix the core problem. Trust is gone. And once trust dies, money follows. In the last 20 years, over 50 national currencies have lost more than 90% of their value. The US, EU, China, Japan, and UK hold the highest combined debt in recorded history. Inflation has hit 40-year highs around the world. Central banks printed more money between 2020 and 2022 than in the previous decade. Every major warning sign is repeating with eerie precision. Some nations are at stage 2, some at stage 3, and a few dangerously close to stage 5 or 6. The cycle is not new. The ending is not surprising, but the scale this time, global. 3 takeaways. Currency collapses, never sudden only. The consequences are. Every warning sign begins with a loss of trust, not a loss of money. Those who understand the cycle early adapt before panic begins. Warning. If history repeats, and it always does, the next major currency failure will not be isolated. It will ripple across continents, markets, and digital systems faster than any collapse in history. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share this video with someone who thinks it could never happen here, because the 7 warning signs are already appearing and the final phase always arrives sooner than expected.